From goodness, sattva, arises knowledge, and from passion, rajas, greed, negligence and error arise from tamas, dullness, as also ignorance. Gnan, wisdom, arises from the mode of sattva, goodness, greed arises from the mode of rajas, passion, and negligence, error and ignorance arise from the mode of tamas, passion. These are the consequences of the modes of nature. Shri Krishna said earlier that the mode of sattva, goodness, leads to gnan, wisdom, and it's also said here in this verse. In this verse, what is the meaning of gnanam? Srimad Vallabhacharya has given it a very nice interpretation. Vallabhacharya says that when Shri Krishna says from the mode of sattva, goodness, arises gnanam, gnanam means having a vision of God. Gnanam sakshatkar eva. A person of the mode of sattva, goodness, has a vision of God. He constantly gets an experience of God. This is the psychological effect of the mode of sattva, goodness. I think has written it very nicely that if one falls alone, but one does not feel alone because of the presence of God, then this is gnan, wisdom. If one falls alone, but if one does not feel alone because of the presence of God, then this is gnan, wisdom. Whereas if one falls alone, but feels alone, then this is ignorance. The moment when one is alone, but does not feel alone, then this is gnan, wisdom. The reason for this is that I can never be alone. My God is constantly with me. The moment when a person falls alone, yet does not feel that they are alone, then this is a state of gnan, wisdom. And when one falls alone and feels alone thinking, I am alone, I must find something, then this is ignorance. This is a formula. Therefore, the consequences of karmas of the mode of sattva, goodness, is that one never feels alone because the Supreme Soul is always there with them. Ramanujacharya says that Gnan is true and direct wisdom of the self. Atma yatatma paroksh rupam gnanam. This is what Gnan is. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavad, Bhagavan says that Sattva Dharmo Bhavet Putat Punso Mad Bhakti Lakshana. When the mode of sattva, goodness, increases, then one attains dharma in the form of bhakti, devotion to me. When the mode of sattva, goodness, increases, then a person then they do wish to perform bhakti, devotion. Only when the mode of sattva, goodness, increases, only then inside the person do they wish to walk towards God. One attains dharma because of the mode of sattva, goodness. Not only that, but tato dharmas tato gnanam. Where there is dharma, there is wisdom. In the heart and antakaran, inner being that has become purified through bhakti, devotion, gnan, wisdom becomes manifest. When the mode of sattva, goodness, increases, then one wishes to perform bhakti, devotion of the Lord, and from bhakti, devotion, the heart becomes purified, and the antakaran, the inner being, becomes purified, which results in a light of gnan, wisdom, shining. This is the consequence of the mode of sattva, goodness. Yadat manya arpitam chittam, shantam sattva pavatmitam, dharmam gnanam sarvagnam, eshvaram api padyate. When the thoughts in the mind become at peace and the mode of sattva, goodness, increases so that it joins with the Supreme Soul and the soul, then dharma, wisdom, non-attachment and wealth come by themselves to that person. The moment when the purified antakaran, inner being, becomes one with the Supreme Soul, then gnan, wisdom, comes by itself, bhakti, devotion, begins to increase, vairagya, non-attachment, begins to increase, and aishvarya, wealth, even comes. Wealth comes by itself in front of the person, and one does not have to go in search of wealth. One even gets wealth. Dharma, gnan, wisdom, vairagya, non-attachment, and aishvarya, wealth, are characteristics of the mode of sattva, goodness. The consequence of the mode of rajas, passion, is greed. One in whom the mode of rajas, passion, increases, greed comes as a root of all sorrows. That greed as a result of objects can lead one to swarg, heaven, or anywhere. It can be a greed of people, where one wants a certain person in a certain way. All of this is greed. I like one thing in Marathi language very much. When we see the word lobh, greed, in Gujarati, then it has a very negative shade. But in Marathi, when they finish writing letters, then they write lobha asava, meaning that greed is a symbol of feelings. For example, they say, have greed for us and do not forget us. This is lobha asavaha. When Guruji was in school and college, at the beginning, then he had a lot of pen pals. Some people from Maharashtra who wrote to him wrote lobha asava, have greed for us, at the end of their letters. He thought that, why do they write this? Should we have greed? We've been taught that we should not have greed, and they're writing Lobha Asava, have greed for us. They mean that we should have love for them and feelings for them. Greed is the characteristic of the mode of Rajas, passion, and as a result of the mode of Tamas, dullness, the consequences are negligence, error, and ignorance. Now God will describe the states of the three modes of nature in the 18th verse.